It doesn't matter if you're in the receptive mode and receiving what's coming from your source point of view, or if you are in a receptive mode and receiving what's coming from your momentum point of view of what you've been focusing upon. In other words, receiving is receiving. You can set your tuner to listen to things that are unpleasant or to listen to things that are pleasant. We want to clarify that when we are talking about the receptive mode, we're talking about connecting to that non-physical source energy, pure positive energy knowledge. But reception is reception. So there are two ways you can tell what you are in the receptive mode of. One, how it feels while you're receiving it, and second, how it's turning out. So you want to ask yourself the question, what's going on in my vibration that causes me to rendezvous with someone who looks like they need help but is beyond any help? In other words, there really was not anything that you could do other than maybe run over them all again. There was not anything that you could offer to that scenario. So then the question is, so why am I there? And we want to say that when you're looking for the value of it, that the value of it is to understand that there are a lot of people that are looking for weight loss, who are not ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. And they've tried this and they've tried that and they've done it all, but they haven't shifted their vibration enough for there to be any sustaining of what they're looking for. And so unless you are able to insert into any conversation this satisfaction factor, unless you can, as you're moving, because let's say that you're moving from not only not enough money, but maybe strong, powerful debt, and you're wanting to be prosperous. Well, it seems like that's a long physical gap that you have to fill in order to get to where you want to be. And so then we want to insert, but you can't get there from there. And a lot of people would say that they believe that because everything that they try doesn't reduce their burden and doesn't get them closer to where they want to be. And we want to say that's because you're going about it in an action-oriented way rather than in a interpreting of energy sort of way, rather than getting to the place where you're receiving the inspiration and being satisfied with the inspiration. In other words, satisfied with the idea even though it didn't lead to money in the bank, satisfied with the idea even though it didn't lead you to the full weight loss that you want right now, this red hot minute. Satisfied now. This is the message of this seminar, finding a way to feel satisfaction now. And it isn't about giving lip service to it. It isn't about saying things that you don't mean. It isn't like putting a happy face sticker on your gas gauge so that you can't see that the tank is empty. It's about genuinely starting in a place through meditation where there's no resistance and allowing the momentum to increase until there is enough momentum that you're actually feeling the satisfaction of receiving an idea. Does that make sense to you? So these three things did all come together because they are all part of the same vibration. And really, this is the most important thing that we want to say to you, to all of you. There isn't something that you need to get to the bottom of that is at the basis of these three experiences. And trying to find that basis is what will keep that active so that you'll see more birds that have been run over. As long as you keep a question active, I don't know why this happened, and I don't know why this happened, and why did this happen? All that does is keep active whatever it is that causes more things to happen that are like that. And so it is enough to say, it doesn't matter what's active within me, because you cannot get to the bottom of anything because there is no bottom. You cannot get to the bottom of it. All you can do is just activate it more until it shows up in more ways and in more ways and in more ways and in more ways. So what is the general thing that you're looking for? The general thing is, I want to feel good. I want to feel satisfaction. And so start with some subject where you find that easily, or meditate where you don't find it easily but where nothing is there, and let your inner being guide you to the thought that will lead you to the satisfaction. Sometimes what happens, it happens with a lot of you, happens with everyone, it happens with Esther, is that you find yourself more heady, more trying to figure things out than is really good for you. It's like you called it a puzzle, and Esther will see something on television and she'll say, Ooh, I cannot figure this out. I do not believe what they're saying about it. What is the true motivation? And we say, Esther, you cannot get there from there. When you're looking at something that you didn't like the outcome, then trying to get to the bottom to figure out why it's happening is only going to bring more things just like that to you. And so, isn't that nice to know? Aren't there other subjects that you could focus upon that are more satisfying in nature? It's like, let's say that there's a buffet of movies that you could go to, and some of them make you feel terrible as you're watching them in different ways, and some of them make you feel wonderful. Would you go to a terrible movie and then try to figure out what you would do to change that movie so that you would feel better, or to even understand, or would you just choose a movie that makes you feel better? And that's what we're wanting to convey here, is that this business of creating is much easier. It's odd that we would say to you, you use too many words, with as many words as we offer. But we would like you, if you'll think back, if you've been listening to us for a while, have you been? If you'll think back, we don't offer that many words. We just say the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's not that many words. You have come from source energy. You are pure positive energy. You want to sift and sort in order to identify what you want, and then do your best to focus in the direction of what you want, and don't try so hard to explain it. And we think that this is a perfect room to have this conversation with, because you are teachers to the core of your being, and it feels important to you to explain to people what they could be doing differently, or what they need to do differently in order to get to where they want to be. And what we want you to leave this gathering knowing for sure is that if they're not ready, it doesn't matter what you say. And if you're not ready, you won't know what to say. And if you are ready, everything you say will satisfy you. And if you're not ready, what you say won't satisfy you. It really is a simpler equation. It's this balance of energies. And so there's a sort of defensive mode, because some of you have been at this for a while, and you say, I've been doing this for 25 years and I know this stuff and I am the most qualified in order to do this or to do anything. And we want to say, all of that is true. You have spent time with this, but what really matters is, where am I right now? Where am I right now? Esther's been doing this for a long time, and she can get sideways of this. She can get focused on some injustice and not be anywhere near the receiving mode, and she can get all kinds of ideas about some things that she might do, and it isn't until they start playing out that she even realizes what a wrong track she is on, and how far from who she really is and what she really wants that she is in any moment in time. And so just realize that receiving is in the moment always, that your point of attraction is in the moment always. Don't try to bring any of your credentials from your past forward into your now. I can't be having negative emotion. I've meditated for 25 years. I can't be having this experience. I've been meditating. I'm a spiritual teacher. I'm an uplifter. And we say, in this moment, what is your mix of energies? That's the only thing you have to know. And do you know what your next moment is going to be like is pretty much what your last moment was like, because momentum is pretty much going to keep you on the track that you're on for a little while. That's why we are really talking a lot about, we've been writing processes. Esther did enough focus wheels that she could fill a van full of notebooks from the focus wheels that she's done. And the focus wheel is a process. Now let's talk about it just for a moment. Focus wheel is a process where you can feel that you're off on something and you want to focus yourself back into alignment. But the harder you try, the more off you get. And so you find something that you feel good about that's sort of kind of on that subject, and you focus on that until the next idea comes. And so it's a way of finding the least resistant thought you can find and focusing there, which will bring another least resistant thought that you can find. And pretty soon you can get that momentum going, so that you've got some momentum going and on a subject where you have little or no resistance. That's a process that really takes discipline and will shift your vibration, and it can help you in a moment that you need it. But meditation is hundreds of times more effective because it starts you in a place of no resistance whatsoever. It is easier to start with no thought and allow that momentum to increase. So what are you getting from all of this? What did you hear us say to you? You're trying too hard, you're thinking too much, and you're trying to get from where you are to another place when you can't. That doesn't sound like the optimistic Abraham that I've been hearing. I really can't get there from here. You cannot continue, sometimes, you cannot continue from where you are and get to where you want to be. You can't continue this action or this train of thought. What's the logical thing to do if this train of thought, and we really want you to hear this, if this train of thought will only lead me to more things that I don't want along this train of thought, what is the answer? A lobotomy. What's the answer? What is the answer? How can I stop the thought? Well, if you take a nap, it will stop the momentum. But when you wake up, you're most likely going to pick up there and start that momentum over again. The only true way to change the direction of a vibration is by quieting your mind and then letting the inner mind, which is really dominantly who you are, offer you a vibration. And in that environment, you'll be more likely to receive it. You are the best example that we've ever seen of someone who is a powerful teacher, who is very good at focusing, who very often gets into a place of pure positive energy, but who is like a dog on a bone. And when you get hold of a thought, you're going to try to think your way out of it. And that's why these things are just kind of raining in on you. We especially liked how you got stranded on the mountain a little bit, where you couldn't decide to go forward or backward. Neither was a good option. Neither was a good option.
And yet still was not a good option either. It couldn't be done. So I had to choose one.
We understand that, and that's how it feels so often, and that's what so many people are doing. They wait until they're in a bind, and then they try to think their way out of the bind. But we want to say, how's that working out for you? And so what you're wanting is to preemptively put yourself in a place of better reception, where you get the impulse of where to come, where the impulse is coming from someone who really knows where you are. That was such a literal experience that speaks exactly to what we're talking about. And the only reason that you went forward was because backward felt so scary, because you imagined yourself careening down the mountain and tumbling and dying like the duck. That's the only reason that forward was the better option, because backward was a horrible option, but neither was a very good option. So you find yourself so often in your physical life experiences feeling like, well, here I am and I've got to do something. And in the examples that our friend offered here, it does feel like I need to do something. And what we are begging you to do is to take more opportunity to not do something and to realize I cannot get there from here.
So are you saying then to me specifically that I actually need to just
What we're saying to you is
kneel down and meditate specifically,
yes,
quietly,
yes,
rather than the
yes,
baths
yes,
and the long walks?
Yes.
And the...
Well, all of that's fine too. But
okay,
there is something missing in understanding if you are consistently getting yourself into situations where there's no good action to take. And we say this to Esther too. We say this to all of you. And what it means is I have more I could clean up in my vibration than I have been doing. And the reason that you don't do it is right back to where we started this morning. You're so human and you're so physical, and there's so much to see and hear and smell and taste and touch that all of that gets your attention and becomes the dominant basis of your life experience. And then you just keep perpetuating all of that. And there are wonderful things in your life that perpetuate the positive aspects of your vibration, and there are not so wonderful things like ducks getting run over that perpetuate the not wonderful aspect. And so there's this mix of vibration going on that is you, that you are not controlling in a way that you could. When you just take life as it comes to you, and now this is what this answer that you're looking for really is. When you are just responding to life and reacting to life, here I am stuck on a hill and I don't want to go down and I don't want to go up, but I got to choose one. When you are in a situation where you are responding to life with sort of knee-jerk reactions, it doesn't get any better. When you hear what we're saying and you really do meditate and you really do manage to soothe for just a little while all those savage beasts of all the things that are concerning you, and you allow yourself connection with who you are, and then you start receiving inspiration and impulses from that vibration, and you start noting the benefit of what comes to you, after a little while you become an actor of life rather than a reactor of life. You've readied yourself to not get lost rather than how to bail yourself out after you are. You've readied yourself not to stumble across smashed little ducks that really have nothing to receive from you, and all it's going to do is upset you. Instead, you're receiving the route that takes you to all of the beautiful things that you want to see.